Hey guys, welcome to Jake's Take Podcast, episode 1. Today I have a very special guest, not just because he's my first guest, because he's my mentor and senior partner. He's also the co-founder of REC, Simeon Papailias. All right, well, welcome, Simeon. I appreciate you coming on. Guest numero uno.
Numero uno. Nice to be here, my brother. I'm very proud of you and happy to be your first guest on your show, man.
Thank you. So, general structure of this show, being the first guest, is I really want to find out the person, the man, the woman behind the real estate, right? So we are going to talk about real estate, but I want to know a little bit about, who you are, how you started, and what you do every day, because you're an absolute monster. And, what time do you get out of bed? What do you brush your teeth with? What's the special sauce, right? Like there's something to it. So that's what I'm very curious about. And that's where I want to kind of lead this podcast off with is, how did you start? Where did you start with real estate?
First and foremost, I think it's a great direction to go into. And I think everybody's curious, including myself, as to what drives people, what drives different people in the directions they go into. I'll happily share what I do and why I do it, because it's for me, I'm very passionate about our business direction. You are one of the integral parts of my team, and I think it's funny that I'm the first person on your show. I also think it's super cool, because where else would you start rather than in your own home and looking within your own organization? So I find it super cool, and I'm thrilled to be here. Just to get you started, my man, like I started this journey, not with the REC, but I started this when I was a kid, when I used to, on the summers, go with my dad to the restaurants or to our businesses. And a lot of the things that drive me today were instilled in me since childhood. And I'm instilling those very same qualities, values, and drive into my children today. So I have an 8 and a 6-year-old, and both of them are competing every morning as to who's going to be up first to take the early riser award every morning.
Yeah.
To say the early bird gets the worm is the understatement of the year. Obviously, whoever is there can compete. So you got to get there to compete, and whoever's there first will typically win, because they're going to find a scene that hasn't been touched by anyone, and they can control the environment and the narrative. So to get you started on the mindset of building a business, the mindset of control, because a business is control. It's controlling what you do, it's controlling what others do, and into a direction that you see as a winning environment. In the case of our organization, there is not a single direction. There used to be 6 people directing. Then there was 3 people directing, and now there's 2 people directing. And in each and every case of the evolution of our company, and the company that I'm speaking to is the REC Canada organization. For those who don't know, we're a large, we're actually called a mega team at this point.
And Simeon, how many, sorry to cut you off, but how many team members do we have now to date?
Including support staff, we're at about 60, 60 strong. So it's we have 50 practitioners running around the streets in southwestern Ontario, because it's unfair to call it Toronto anymore. We don't represent Toronto, we represent Southwest Ontario.
Yeah.
As you very well know, because you're growing a team of 6, now almost at 8 people, literally from Windsor to Niagara to Hamilton.
Yeah. Well, geez, we went up to Sudbury last week. All right, if it's so with that, the deal's there.
With that said, we can no longer speak that we rep Toronto, but yeah, man. So to lead an organization, you have to have, in this case, when we're in a partnership, a unified vision. Yeah. You have to respect the fact that you have a unified vision, and you have to respect the opinion of your partner. You have to respect the opinions and the objectives of your team members. And if you're not driven by their success, you're going to find very quickly that you will fail at everything because you depend on your team to make your vision a reality.
Right.
If you are the leader that you think you are, you're going to have the buy-in and the contribution of every single member of the team in order to make that happen.
Right. And you, Simeon, you had a very successful real estate career before you came into the position of senior partner, or how did that come about?
It's not so much a very successful career. I've just always worked hard.
Yeah.
A successful career, many people look at it in different ways. Some people say making 100K is successful, 200K is successful, 500K is successful. Every person defines success differently. Success is not a number. Success is a feeling. So
100%. I couldn't agree more.
So I've been successful since the day I got into business because I've been happy since I've gotten into business. So at all times, I've only worked on things that I've wanted to, whether it's washing dishes in restaurants, cooking in restaurants, serving in restaurants, managing restaurants, owning clubs, steakhouses, pizza joints, ice cream shops. I've just gone through an array of business ventures in the hospitality business. I went into a corporate role when I was 20 years old to about 26 years old, where I was extremely happy there because I was able to grow very fast, both in income and rank. I managed a team of just under 100 people running the American Express Canada portfolio, the CIBC small business portfolio. And this was in contingency and collections, as they may be known, but it's a little bit different because it's on the business side. So you're not calling people to get their money, you're calling businesses to restructure them.
Yeah.
But that's what literally got me thinking about real estate as a career. So I have always used in my life every single experience and have parlayed it into the next venture.
Yeah. Yeah. No, and I see that working with you, right? Like we're in the office every day together, and it's the drive you have is unbelievable, right? And it's something I'm hoping I can achieve one day as well. Giving the listeners here a bit of a kind of a snapshot into your day, because I've seen your calendar before, and I look at it and I go, wow, like that's one heck of a day, right? How do you organize your days? Like how do you start a day when your calendar is 7 a.m. to 11 o'clock at night? What does that look like for you?
We can talk about yesterday.
Yeah.
Because it is a 7 to 11 yesterday.
Yeah.
So it's very simple. You have to have the will to go through the day. So there is no coming out of it. So if my business objectives are to hit a specific number, to do a specific type of deal, to do a deal with a person that I want to do a deal with. So yesterday we had the CEO of a very significant development company in the GTA, as a matter of fact, either the largest or second largest. I'm not going to out him on the podcast, but we had 8 people on the call, Jacob, advisors to the advisors, consultants, brokers, and the CEO of somebody who can write a check for $100 million in 3 seconds. So that was at what time? 2 o'clock?
Yep.
Well, the day started with my children having breakfast at the breakfast bar at home at 7. By 8 o'clock, the breakfast was wrapped up and we're having some laughs. By 8:30, my director of operations is at my house, or one of our commercial consultants, Cheyenne, is at my house, and we're prepping for a listing presentation for 10:30. By 10:30, we get through our morning. We're set up, take a couple calls that we needed to, shoot a couple emails that we needed to. At 11 o'clock, I take Cheyenne by the hand. We go do a listing presentation. By 12:30, we have a new listing because we won it. By 1 o'clock, we're at Don Mills, where I'm meeting with my business partner, Jazz. And I go into the boardroom, and there's 5 of our agents sitting with my director of operations, getting their mentorship. I check it to see that everything's on the up and up. Of course it is. At 2 o'clock, we take our call. By 3:30, I got to do recordings, which is my content for my channels. By 5 o'clock, I'm leaving and I'm heading to Pickering, where I meet another development group. that's looking to put 28 townhouses on Frenchman's Bay while presenting to them a 96 townhome package that we are going to be bringing to market next week.
Yeah.
And by 7:00, I have to be in Yorkville to check in on my restaurants. So I had to meet with my partner, with my business partner in the hospitality business. We met at 9:30. We broke some bread, went over what the plan is for the fall, different menus, creation of different cocktail menus for the lounges, some expansion plans for the franchise overall, because we run the real estate side of Kibo franchising. So we're going to be adding restaurants to the mix. And of course, I had to check in on some of the securities that I signed, because apparently I'm a guarantor for another space in Yorkville. So.
Well, I started smiling right around 5:00. I think you did as well, because that's a week for some people.
But again, at 5:00 is typically when our second shift starts.
Yeah.
So while people are coming off, that's when we've caught up with the day, and now we have to do our new biz. And just to wrap yesterday off, at 9:00, I texted a good friend, Trevor, who is again with a massive development company, and I met him at Soto for a quick gin and tonic, catch up, and book an appointment for next week to talk business. Yeah. So I literally got home at 11:00, and this morning we're back up at 6 and going to do
rinse and repeat.
That's right.
Yeah. No, it's amazing. It's amazing. Yeah, and I find and I know that's kind of dry just going through your day, Simeon, but I find I've spoken to a lot of people, and just being how close we are together, they always go, how does Simeon do it? Right? Like he's an absolute powerhouse. How does he start? What's his day like? So I did want to give the listeners a quick snapshot into your day and an agent of your level and what you're doing, what your day looks like. So
yeah, and like, I do appreciate the kind words, but I don't want to focus on that. What I want to focus on is the mindset behind it.
Yes.
I would like to share that. I do love the fact that you aspire to get into the insanity that this level brings, but there is no other way to do it. So unless you're okay with not growing at a specific pace, rate, or objectives, which is fine.
Yeah.
I don't measure success to anyone as to how many deals they do. Is, are you doing what you want to be doing? And the only thing that I can say with absolute certainty is that I'm doing exactly what I want to be doing. And having this kind of chaos around me is something that I require to function. Yeah. So whether for better or for worse, that's who I am and what I do. So it's that's what I like.
Well, yeah, I don't just listening to that day. Honestly, it got me jacked up. Like I want to get off this call and start making some phone calls. You know what I mean? Like I love that drive and being busy. It's exciting. It really is. So what are you doing now? Like today, what gets you excited? Right? Because that's one heck of a day. But what gets you out of bed in the morning? You're just like that. I found that exciting. What do you find that keeps you going, keeps you motivated to do that 7 to 11?
Yes.
Other than driving success, and I want to get into what success means for you, Simeon, but is there real estate deal you're doing right now? Is there, what's happening there?
Yeah, there's a lot, and I'll get into that, but I'll start this off with, yesterday was a hectic day, but since you got me while I'm fresh, I just spent almost 3 weeks, 2.5 weeks in the motherland, in Greece. So I'm in a very, very, very good place mentally right now, where before I left, I was in a really, really rough place mentally. Yeah. Meaning I had to deal with the passing of my mother and not getting her the final closure and having to wait 2 years to be able to do these things, coupled with the pandemic, what that would do for business, what we actually did with it and got through it. Now we're at the tail end of it, but we never had a break. So when you work at this frantic pace for 2 years without a break, you break.
Yeah.
So something has to give. And I was definitely at the end of my rope. And right now I'm at one of the best places I can be, because I did get the personal closure I was looking for from the personal side, and I got some rest. So from those almost 3 weeks, I can tell you that for 2 weeks, I got rest.
Yeah. And that's I appreciate you sharing that, because it's an important insight as well, right? Is we live in this social media world where, everything on Instagram is perfect. Everything on Facebook's perfect.
Yeah.
Right. And, a lot of people, again, just in conversation, they always go, oh, everything's going so well for that guy or this girl or whatever. And, it's really nice to hear. And that's something I want to do with this podcast is, humanize, these real estate tycoons, right? These guys that are just crushing it in the industry and show people that, hey, it is really tangible for people, to do this. It's not where you started, but mindset.
Anybody would be a fool to think that when I say everything goes wrong, I can't mean it anymore.
Yeah.
So for every amazing and perfect deal, that is literally only the tip of the iceberg. Everything about that deal was an absolute fucking disaster.
Yeah.
And I'm talking about every deal. I don't remember a deal that went smoothly. Not one.
Yeah.
Maybe
that's our job.
Nature of commercial. That is our job. There's a reason we get paid. Absolutely correct.
Yeah.
So, not only are we vulnerable from a deal side, but personal side, when you do work 7 to 11, I can assure you that your partner at home has been waiting for at least 6 hours, and they've been stewing for about 4 of those hours, and they were pretty angry the last 2 hours. So between the phone call home and getting home and having to just reset the stage and be able to function at home is a challenge. So for anybody in this business who's gone, and I'll tie this to income, if you're doing over $250,000, life at home is not what it used to be. Now, if you get into the 7 figures or if you grow a team or whatever the case may be, I can assure you that nothing anywhere in your reality is what it used to be. And I'm not talking about being more comfortable because you have more money. I'm talking about being far more uncomfortable because there's a lot of hate. And there's a lot of people with something to say about your lifestyle, about what you're doing, about what you're prioritizing and how. So there's a tremendous amount of challenges that come with meeting objectives. So,
yeah, no, I get that. It's again, thanks for sharing that, because it is really, it's important to hear, and I don't think people hear it enough.
I couldn't agree with you more.
The back end of things here.
To touch on some deals that excite me right now, last year I made a commitment to really take a stronghold and take our commercial practice far more from doing retail leases, retail sales, which is still an important part of our portfolio, but we truly transitioned into development real estate. And when I pointed the sales in that direction, obviously you followed as my vice president for the commercial side. And we've been fanning those flames and feeding gas into that engine. And now we're starting to really reap the rewards and see that network and objective start taking shape and flourishing as we literally get a phone call once or twice a day, every day, from parties looking to either build, buy, sell, assemble, flip, turn. But we're dealing with a lot of land. We're dealing with a lot of red tape with the city, and really learning and taking handle of the processes in different municipalities. So as we grow, the only thing that excites me at this point in my career is development real estate. Seeing my team grow is the other one, but you couldn't pay me. Well, I wouldn't do it no matter how much you paid me. Like, I'm not looking to do a residential deal. I'm not looking to do a commercial deal. For me, it's all about the mechanics and the potential, the people that I want to be associated with, and how finding and discovering people and their backstories and what they've done, how well they hide it. Like, how many landmines have we almost stepped on?
Yeah.
I mean, it's fun. Yeah.
No, and I've seen that as well, right? Like, I know you've always done development real estate, but I think this year, beginning of the year, you were saying it's the year of development.
That's right.
And I've seen it in you. There's a hop in your step, right? When it comes down to it, it's I can tell you truly enjoy that side of real estate.
Well, I mean, the deals that we have on the go today are just phenomenal.
Yeah.
So should we be so fortunate, so lucky and blessed to be able to put these through the finish line? We're talking about And again, like people say, why are you excited about development in real estate? Because I'm going to be in control of my destiny. If I sell 100 townhome development, guess who's selling 100 townhouses next year?
Yeah.
This guy. So I'm not excited for a residential listing. I'm excited for 100.
That's it.
You just get a little bit more desensitized every year. And I don't know if it's going to be 150 and 200 and 1,000 for years to follow, but if that's what it is, let's go. So.
Yeah. No, it's amazing. It's amazing. I want to ask this question to every guest I have, and we touched on it very briefly earlier on, but what does success mean to you?
Success for me is 100% a state of mind, and it's when I have peace at home. That's number one of success. If I don't have peace at home, that means that me personally, I have failed. So peace at home is number one. When my children look at me and they say, Daddy, I've missed you, failure. So I've committed to breakfast 7 days a week with my children, unless I'm not in the city. I've committed to at least 4 evenings a week to be available to my children and to my wife between 5 and 8, which is why you see me working from 8 to 1 in the morning most evenings, because my work didn't stop because I chose to stop working at 5 or at 5:30. So these are commitments that I have made and that I have kept. And success, the absolute number one definition, does come from me being able to lay my head down on my pillow, knowing that the people around me are happy, are well, are in control, they feel safe, and they feel connected. And connected's a big one. Yeah. Number two, obviously, is absolute my career path and my passion. And the growth of my companies, my relationship with my business partner, my relationship with my directors, my relationship with my brokers, and every single support staff down. I mean, like, I'm looking around me right now, and I have a 17-year-old grade 12 intern student that started working in the summer and now is transitioning into a contract position and is going to stay on, hopefully, throughout her university years, and one day be a vice president or the president of this company, for all I care. Amazing. So seeing them succeed, seeing them flourish and go through steps is by far what defines my internal success, which is my happiness. Right on. I like that. Yeah. And it's I follow suit with that a lot, right? I think success is, making sure everything's covered, right? Success is that feeling of, I can, like you said, put your head on the pillow at night and know, hey, tomorrow's going to be another day. We're good. Let's keep going. So I like that. Just to wrap things up here, because we are coming on that 30-minute mark. What's one advice? It can be a book, a podcast. What's something you recommend our listeners to check out, to listen to, something you found has helped you in your career and that can help other people? My one piece of advice for everyone, and it has nothing to do with being a broker, a salesperson, you could be a school teacher, is everybody always asks the definition of success to different people. Mm-hmm. And I think that's what's on everyone's mind more than ever, because life is just so busy and so many distractions. My number one piece of advice to everyone is to stop looking outside and look inside. Stop trying to please the Instagram and just do you. Do you first. Instagram is fictitious. Facebook is fictitious. You put out a prepared message to meet whatever goal you're looking for. If you look at my Instagram, it is specifically intended to attract brokers and give them advice and value, and either to work with me, to join me, or to somehow brush paths and be successful together. It doesn't have a hidden agenda, but it's fictitious in the way that you don't see one of my struggles on my Instagram. You don't see me cry. I cry a lot. I'm a sensitive guy. But you don't see that on Instagram. So stop looking to the outside, look inside. Ask yourself what success is. Because to say I want to make 100K this year or I want to make 500K this year is short-sighted. Because you can make that money, but if it's at the cost of your family, you lost. if it's at the cost of your sanity you lost. Maybe I can take more pressure than you can. Does that mean you fell short? No, you only fell short because you were comparing yourself to me. So make your guidelines based on you. Look inside, find what you like, find what you can take. If you need to go fishing every Saturday, go fucking fishing. So it's a matter of my piece of advice to anyone on anything. If you want to hit any type of success, unless you're successful to yourself and you know how to define what you're looking for, you're not going to hit it. You're going to end up depressed. You're going to end up confused, and you're going to end up unhappy. Look inside and ask yourself, what is it I want? Once you know what you want, you can actually achieve it. It's like writing things down. It's like having a tangible goal. What do you want? That's all that needs to happen, because that's the beginning of everything.
That's a very powerful message. I like that.
God bless you, my homie.
Yeah, I think that's a great way to end this episode 1 of Jake's Take.
Jake's Take.
I appreciate it, Simeon. Thank you.
Cheers to you, buddy. All the success with this show and all the success in your career always.